Our group is doing a project on alternative jet fuel, electric, biofuel, hydrogen, and recaptured carbon fuel. What is it about? Alternative jet fuels are typically made from renewable sources, such as biofuels or hydrogen fuels, and not fossil fuel-based ones. They are fuels derived from non-petroleum origins and are also referred to as non-conventional fuels. These new fuels sought to decrease damaging exhaust emissions produced by their petroleum counterparts, and alternative jet fuels burn cleaner than conventional fuel, thus limiting the amount of harmful greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. The image on the top right displays the different routes of production alternate jet fuels could go through. For example, most alternative jet fuels are first cultivated, whether it be from the land or the air or underground. They are processed and eventually combusted. This shows how most alternative fuels are produced as well as the byproducts that come along with them. Today, the world has become too dependent on oil, coal, and natural gas. And since these fuel reserves are rapidly decreasing, time and research should be put in developing alternatives to depend on other than petroleum.
The first alternative jet fuel that we're looking into is biofuels, which are produced from organic matter. There are three main types of biofuels, which are bioethanol, biodiesel, and biojet, which is primarily used in aviation. Biofuels are created from vegetable oils, sugars, and animal fats. The benefits of biofuel is that it creates less pollution and it takes a lot less time to create than fossil fuels. Biofuels are created from first cultivating, then harvesting, and then refining the biofuels, as seen in the top right image. The current limitations of biofuels right now is that they're currently too expensive to compete with fossil fuels for widespread commercial use. And as you can see in the bottom right image, biofuels are still less powerful than standard fossil fuels. Biofuels definitely have a large potential in the future of aviation fuels, and if it can reach commercial prices, it has high potential in the future.
Carbon capture is the process of capturing carbon dioxide from the air and taking the carbon out of carbon dioxide, joining it with hydrogen to create a synthetic fuel which can be used by aircraft to fly. As seen in the picture in the bottom right, you can see a large plant, and that is the plant that is used to suck up the CO2 from a nearby airport. Carbon capture can lower emissions of aircraft significantly, almost to the point that aircraft will not produce any additional emissions to the world. How it can make an impact, again, it sucks up the CO2 from the air, so there's less CO2 in the air and can make our lives even better. One major challenge is that there is a possibility for emissions from the actual process to be released into the air because it needs electricity to cause the carbon to detach from the oxygen, which we can use coal plants or we can look towards solar plants. And there's also a possibility for the cost to be extremely high and the energy density to be really low, like biofuels. Overall, I think that sorry about that. I believe that is a great technology and I hope to see it in the future.
Another potential fuel technology for the airline industry is hydrogen. Hydrogen-powered planes work off readily available gas, H2, and is therefore not carbon-based. The way this energy source works can be by combustion, standard combustion, or instead through fuel cell technology. This is where hydrogen and oxygen from the air combine to form water and electricity in a cell. This electricity is then used to power a plane through an electric motor, or instead, the hydrogen can be burned in a standard jet engine. The hydrogen gas is formed through electrolysis, which means it's carbon neutral. It's based on the carbon neutrality of the current power grid. So ethically, the benefit from hydrogen is highly dependent on the growth and innovation of other technologies in the current field. of the consumer power grid. The main benefits of this technology is that it is very energy dense, meaning a lot of power per kilogram is available even when compared to current jet fuel. However, the main drawback is the large volume needed to store the fuel. So although it's light, it still takes a large volume to store it, cutting down on passenger and cargo space in commercial aircraft. As well, another issue is the lack of current infrastructure and planes that support such a new technology. In the end, this jet fuel alternative is highly viable due to its high energy density, allowing it to perform in the long haul flight market, and as well as being able to refill quickly, something that other solutions like batteries currently struggle to do due to technological limitations.
Another potential fuel is electricity. In jets, that means a combination of dense batteries and a special engine designed for all-electric flight. While it is possible to use both batteries and this new style of engine, electric flight is limited by the energy density of the materials currently used to make batteries today. Without a more energy-dense material, flights will be limited to short distances due to the weight of the batteries used to power the engines. So, while the engines are ready and electric flight is possible, a new battery system with a higher energy density is required for electric to take the place of the jet engines being used on a large scale today. All electric systems are already being used in cars, and the world is coming up with more ways to create electricity while minimizing environmental impact. It is likely that all electric will start to be used in flight systems as well as other places where it was previously not possible.